What if everything we've been told about Avengers Doomsday is only the beginning? For months, the internet has been flooded with fake leaks, fan concepts, and wild theories. Most of them fell apart almost immediately, but now one of the most trusted voices in the movie industry, John Campea, has shared a plot leak that he believes is the real deal. If this information turns out to be accurate, Marvel isn't just making another Avengers movie. They're about to erase entire universes. So before we go any further, massive spoiler warning, let's break it all down. The movie reportedly opens in one of the most unexpected places imaginable, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe. New York City looks normal until Deadpool and Wolverine suddenly arrive with a terrifying mission. They've been sent by Beast, not to save this universe, but to destroy it. They're carrying a planet-killing bomb designed to wipe out Earth before an incursion destroys both realities. It's an impossible choice. Sacrifice one world or lose two. Naturally, Tobey's Spider-Man refuses to let that happen. He clashes with Wolverine in an emotional battle while Deadpool stays focused on the mission. Despite Spider-Man's efforts, Wolverine manages to activate the bomb, but when the countdown reaches 0, Wolverine doesn't escape. He stays behind. The explosion consumes the entire Earth. Spider-Man, Wolverine, and billions of innocent lives vanish in an instant. Deadpool is the only one who escapes back to his own universe, forced to watch another reality disappear forever. Watching the destruction from afar is Professor Charles Xavier. There's no celebration, no victory, only silence. Because this wasn't an act of evil, it was survival. And according to the leak, this isn't even the first universe they've sacrificed. This opening finally explains how incursions truly work in the MCU. When two universes collide, destroying the other Earth's planet prevents your own universe from collapsing. It's horrifying, but it's the same desperate strategy used in Marvel comics. And if these leaks are accurate, Professor X has already destroyed multiple universes just to keep his own alive. That alone completely changes how we'll see the X-Men in this movie. The story then shifts to a familiar moment, Tony Stark's funeral. An emotional scene that may even appear as additional footage in an Endgame re-release. Before returning the Infinity Stones, Steve Rogers shares one final conversation with several Avengers, including Ant-Man. Then he travels back through time, not to fight another battle, but to finally live the life he always wanted. He stays with Peggy Carter. Years pass. They build a family together. Eventually, they have a son named Jim. For the first time in decades, Steve finally finds peace. Until one unexpected visitor changes everything. Loki. Not the god of stories from the end of Season 2, but the Loki from before that transformation. He arrives with a warning. The TVA is coming. Steve was never supposed to stay in this timeline. His family, his son, none of them are meant to exist. If the TVA finds them, everything will be erased. Loki offers Steve one chance to save his family. He secretly transports them into another universe, a universe where Steve Rogers doesn't exist, the Fantastic Four's reality. Before leaving, Loki gives Steve a special device allowing him to contact him again if he ever needs help. According to the leak, Steve and his family spend the next 10 years living peacefully inside the Fantastic Four universe, completely hidden from the TVA. The story then picks up immediately after the Fantastic Four first steps post-credit scene. Dr. Doom arrives to meet Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Surprisingly, there isn't immediate hostility. They already know each other. Doom explains why he's really there. Incursions are spreading across the multiverse, and their universe will be next. He already has a plan to stop them. But first, they need to travel to Earth 616. Before leaving, Doom asks Reed an unusual question. Is it possible that someone from another universe is already living here? Reed scans the planet. The result shocks everyone. Steve Rogers, Peggy, and their son have been living in this universe for years. The Fantastic Four visit Steve, who instantly recognizes them. After all, he spent nearly a decade living in their world. Doom explains everything about the incursions and asks Steve to return with them, not as Captain America, but as the one person capable of convincing the Avengers to trust Dr. Doom. Steve agrees. Together, they travel to Earth 616. The Avengers are stunned to see Steve alive. And one reunion stands above all the others. Thor, after believing his friend was gone forever. Thor finally sees Steve again, but the celebration doesn't last long because the mission is far from over. The next stop, the X-Men universe. The moment the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and Doctor Doom arrive in the X-Men universe, everything goes wrong. Instead of welcoming them, the X-Men attack. And honestly, you can't blame them. From their perspective, mysterious heroes have suddenly appeared from another reality talking about destroying worlds to stop incursions. To the X-Men, these aren't saviors, they're another invasion. A massive Avengers vs. X-Men battle erupts, becoming one of the biggest action sequences in the movie. Eventually, the fighting stops after Reed Richards and Doctor Doom explain the truth. Incursions can't simply be defeated, they have to be prevented. Their solution is ambitious. Every endangered Earth must build enormous dimensional cannons capable of pushing universes apart before they permanently collide. To make that happen, the heroes divide into multiple teams and begin traveling across different realities, installing these massive devices before it's too late. Meanwhile, Steve remembers something Loki told him. He's still alive. Thor immediately makes one request: take me to my brother. Using the special device Loki gave Steve years earlier, all the two travel to the TVA, but what they discover changes everything. The TVA has become a graveyard. Its agents are dead. Entire hallways are covered in destruction. And at the center of it all, Loki, lifeless. His heart has been ripped from his chest. If this leak is true, Marvel may have just given Doctor Doom one of the most brutal introductions in MCU history. Thor is completely shattered. He waited years to see his brother again, only to find him like this. Steve immediately realizes something isn't right. This wasn't random. Someone wanted Loki's power, and every clue points toward Doctor Doom. Steve rushes back and confronts him. That's when Doom finally drops the mask and reveals his true objective. Stopping the incursions was never his real goal. He actually wants them to happen because once the multiverse collapses, he believes he can rebuild it exactly the way he wants. A perfect reality, one where his family never died, one where every mistake can be erased. Doom then brings Steve to his castle in Latveria. Inside, Steve meets Doom's loyal followers, including powerful witches who use magic to manipulate his mind. One of them even takes Peggy Carter's appearance, trying to emotionally break him. Then Doom reveals the truth behind his own tragedy. According to him, Steve's decision to remain in another universe disrupted the natural order of the multiverse. Those changes triggered the chain of events that eventually led to Doom's experiments. During one failed attempt to stop the incursions, everything went wrong. His family was killed. His face and body were horribly scarred. That's why he now hides behind the iconic armor. And then the leak describes what may become the darkest moment in the entire MCU. Right in front of Steve, Doctor Doom murders his son, not to win a battle, not out of necessity, but to make Steve feel the same pain he experienced. It's pure revenge. And from that moment, there is no turning back. Doom prepares Latveria for war. The Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men finally unite into one massive army. Thor calls upon Odin from Valhalla, an Asgardian army answers. The final battle begins. Heroes and villains collide across collapsing realities as entire universes crash into one another. Despite every sacrifice, they fail. The incursions consume everything. World after world disappears. Universe after universe dies. Almost every hero falls. Then comes the final twist. Doctor Doom was never just another genius. He had already stolen Loki's multiversal power. Using that unimaginable power, he survives the end of existence itself, and from the ashes of the multiverse, he creates Battleworld. Everyone returns, but there's one terrifying difference. Nobody remembers who they really are. Their memories have been erased. Every hero believes Battleworld has always been their home. Every villain accepts this false reality as truth. Only Doom remembers the previous universe. Now he no longer calls himself Victor Von Doom. He sits upon a throne as God Emperor Doom, ruling over an entire recreated reality like a living god. If even half of this leak turns out to be true, Avengers. Doomsday won't just end with a cliffhanger. It will completely destroy the MCU as we know it, and Secret Wars will become the story of heroes trying to remember the lives they lost. But here's the biggest question. Do you actually believe this leak, or is Marvel setting fans up with the biggest fake-out in franchise history? Drop your theory below. Because if Doctor Doom really becomes God Emperor Doom, the multiverse may already be beyond saving.